A graphical user interface, or GUI, is a set of programs that allow a user to interact with the computer system. Different distributions come with various default desktop environments. With Linux, the GUI choices are almost overwhelming, and the flexibility is immense. On Linux, a GUI is a set of components that work together to provide the graphical settings for the user interface, for example, the desktop environment. A desktop environment provides a predetermined look and feel to the GUI. Typically, it is broken up into the following sections. Desktop settings, which consist of programs that allow you to make configuration changes to the desktop environment. For example, you may want windows to activate when your cursor hovers over them instead of when you click on them. Display Manager. The login screen is where you choose a username and enter a password to gain system access. If multiple desktop environments are installed on the system, the Display Manager allows you to choose between them prior to logging in. These login screens are often modified by corporations to contain legal statements about the appropriate use of the system and/or a company logo. File Manager. This allows you to perform file maintenance activities graphically. A folder icon is shown for directories within the Manager program. You can perform such tasks as moving a file, viewing directory contents, copying files, and so on. Icons are a pictorial representation of a file or program. It is activated via mouse clicks. The Favorites bar, window area containing popular icons that are typically used more often. Some environments update their bar automatically. The Launch program allows you to search for applications and files. Menus. These Windows areas are typically accessed via an icon. They contain files and/or programs lists, as well as sublists or additional files and/or program selections. Panels. These are slim and typically rectangular areas that are located at the very top or bottom of a desktop environment. They can also be on the desktop's far left or right. They often contain notifications, system date and/or time, program icons, and so on. The system tray is a special menu commonly attached to a panel. It provides access to programs that allow a user to log out, lock the screen, manage audio, and so on. Widgets are divided into applets, screenlets, desklets, and so on. They are programs that provide the user information or functionality on the desktop. For example, current sports news may be displayed to a screenlet. Windows Manager. Programs determine how the windows or frames are represented on the desktop. These programs control items such as the size and appearance of the windows. In addition, they manage how additional windows can be placed, such as either next to each other or overlapping. Some Linux users are passionate about desktop environments they use. There are several excellent ones from which to choose, so we'll cover a few of these. The GNOME environment was created in the late 1990s. GNOME is popular and found on CentOS and Ubuntu. GNOME 2 was a more traditional user interface, and when GNOME 3, which is now called GNOME Shell, was released in 2011, with a lot of non-traditional interfaces. Many users did not like it. This spurred a few GNOME project forks. With a few changes over time, GNOME Shell gained ground. GNOME Classic is available to those who still prefer GNOME 2. If you'll notice, the panel at the top of a clock and system tray, the Activities button on the far left allows you to switch between windows and provides the search bar. The Favorites bar on the left side shows various application icons as well as apps menus. KDE Plasma, our cool desktop environment. Started in 1996 with the first released version in 1998. Over time, the name KDE was no longer just a desktop environment, but also the project organization and the strong community following that supported it. This is a KDE Plasma desktop on OpenSUSE. The panel location is at the primary UI's frames bottom, very similar to a Windows environment. On this panel, the system tray, which contains notifications such as the time and various other widgets, is located to the right. The Applications menu is on the far left side. KDE Plasma offers a folder view. Folders appear in the default UI. The Cinnamon desktop environment started in 2011 when users reacted strongly to GNOME 3. Cinnamon and KDE are very similar. They both have folder icons on the main UI. Cinnamon goes beyond just applets for modifying the desktop. They include themes and extensions so you can make it as unique as you want to. The Mate desktop started in 2011 when GNOME 3 was released, and it was derived from the GNOME 2. Mate has two panels. One is the primary at the top and the other is at the bottom. The system tray is located at the top right. Applications, a menu-driven launchers to the top far left side. The far left bottom has a Show Desktop button, which is useful when you have several windows open at the same time. While the default desktop environment provided works for many people, accessibility settings accommodate all potential users. It's important to know the desktop environment configurations for these settings so that you can help provide access for all. While it will be different depending on the distribution, most settings can be accomplished through the desktop control panels. Here is the Universal Access menu on a Ubuntu login window. You can find more settings in the control panel by searching for Universal Access in the GNOME. And as you can see, you can change the contrast, you can change the zoom, you can do large text, screen reader, screen keyboard, visual alerts, sticky keys, slow keys, bounce keys, and mouse keys. And And once you log in, there are also more settings, and I'll show those to you in just a second. Once you're logged into Ubuntu, you can go up to the system tray, hit settings, and then on the menu on the left, you'll scroll down to see universal access. And there are the same settings what we had at the login screen, with some extra ones for hearing and typing and point and clicking. If you have a user that needs help with any of this, just feel free to play around with it till you find what works best for them. Alright, question time. Which of the following best describes a desktop environment? Feel free to pause and look back for the answer to the question, because we did cover it earlier. The answer is a desktop environment is a series of components that work together to provide the graphical setting for the user interface. Thank you everybody for joining me. I hope you come again next time.